Well, hello, and welcome back to Idle Kingdom Defense. So today's 17,275, and of course, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and you know it, I know it, make sure to ring that bell. So, yes, let's take a look here. Total War has been swept. The Archer Store, purchased. Astrology did not get finished. Yeah, I always forget this one. I do most of it because I get rid of the red dot and then I forget to do the extra. But that's fine. We can do it together. And, of course, the expedition is the wolf today. The portal has been swept too. So those are 5 tickets for the dragon, 5 tickets for Gear Seal Day. We just had Hero Seal Day. And, of course, it is time. It is always time to purchase some heroes. Marion, Lucas. What a great start. Now, I did have an interesting question. Somebody asked me why I still purchase it if everybody's 5-star mythic. And I will forever hold out hope that we will get that update. Roderick. I mean, I feel like the way the game is, it's basically waiting for it, in my opinion. And maybe it's just taking a long time. It took us like over a year to get Total War, so maybe it just takes a long time. Who knows? But, you know, I do want to be as ready for it as possible. And there is something else I want to announce. That due to the changes coming up with pushing and all that, I'm going to put a temporary pause on King's Ruin. After much consideration on how the format of King's Ruin should be going forward, I decided that King's Ruin should become a weekly feature. It really doesn't get that many views as is. It is very repetitive, and honestly, if it's not getting a lot of views and, you know, all that, you know, I don't really need to record it every day. My goal is to set up a series where King's Ruin is available every Sunday, and that way you can kind of see the progress in a week-to-week format. That said, how are you doing today? I hope everything is going well for you. And finally, if you've been following the series, you should know, yes, Christian is finally 600. I'm just going to awaken this one last time. Health, that's not really useful. So his final stats are going to be 27 million, 91,635 crit damage, and 542% for the orb and the ring. So that is it. That does mean, you guessed it, we are working on Marion, and following the conclusion of this episode, which will be the last King's Ruin you'll see for a while, because I'm not really going to restart the King's Ruin series while we're pushing. I will just deal with it offline. And this also means that anything, like if we don't have enough awakening material from Marion and we have a bunch of 4-star stuff left over, we will not be leveling Christian's artifacts anymore. We will just dismantle that. And so we might end up with a lot of crystals left over, but to me, that's perfectly okay. And crit damage, that is what we like to see. So let's get this. And yes, you can see we have a huge pile from just pushing Christian for about a week. So we should be pretty good to go. We have 7,000 left over. Obviously, we're going to switch to the orb now. And so basically, I think we likely will not run out, but I mean, you never know until we get to 1010 cleared, but you never know. So we are going to, monitor that situation as we ascend. Of course, I will be still doing the normal stuff. While we are pushing, we will be sweeping Total War. We will be doing all those kind of things. So none of that is going to change. We will still be engaging in those systems. It's just that we actually will be putting our best foot forward and trying to push as much as we can in the following, however long it takes. And then again, once I get to 24,030, I do not anticipate leaving that stage until there's an update. Going beyond that, simply, like, it's an unfortunate, in my opinion, flaw of the game that going beyond that only serves to make King's Ruin harder, which to me is not fun, because the way this game does difficulty is harder is just longer. It's not actually more difficult. And I really would like it if if King's Ruin was changed in a way so that it just wasn't such a time drain. That to me is one of the biggest flaws in this game, just how much time King's Ruin takes. And again, it's a very solvable problem, in my opinion. I've suggested numerous times to the developers themselves to say, hey, rather than doing King's Ruin in this format, just all they would have to do is double the attack of both sides after King's Ruin has gone on for a minute or a minute and a half. That doesn't interfere with the balance of the game outside of the fact that the castle's health doesn't get doubled, so you do need to make sure you have a sufficient amount of health. And it's possible that they would need to temporarily double the castle's health, like up to a certain stage, and they could change that later, because I really feel like it's a good enrage mechanic. And they implemented Berserk, which to me was a failed rage mechanic, because it made us unable to do the stages we were already doing. So if you played before Berserk, now you were stuck doing stages you couldn't do post Berserk. So that to me was a flawed system. And it's 20, 24, and 28 rings, which means we have 37 orbs. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit problematic until we whittle this down, just because this limits our inventory. So I may do awakenings until I get this under control. I will likely be doing some awakenings, possibly outside of the video. Of course, I will let you know if I do that, just so that this is manageable for me to sweep. I really don't want to have every episode be like, hey, look, we're sweeping Total War again. We did enough of that. An occasional one is okay, in my opinion. But this is it. This is basically the final episode before we push. We will be pushing after this episode and after this King's Ruin. Obviously, we won't be doing King's Ruin. This King's Ruin video will be the last one in the daily series. And if it does if people do ask for it back on a daily basis, I may consider it. But for now, while we are pushing, I'm putting a temporary pause on King's Ruin, especially since I'm going to be mostly doing a 10 skip and just doing the 4 buildings, because I don't really want to spend a lot of time actually in King's Ruin when I can be pushing. So that's how we did a little up Sophia. She unfortunately did not get to 13,000. She's close, though. She did get 86 levels. And the final thing we're going to talk about is the castle. I'm going to go with 16,301. Okay, that's much better. 16,304. And once again, as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. If you have any questions, feel free to say something in the comments. I do always look forward to your questions. And as always, thank you again, and I hope you have a great day.